Hello. Welcome everyone on this beautiful, beautiful morning. I think it's Thursday. Streaming live to you today is myself, Maria, from beautiful British Columbia. And today, for the first time in the history of Python Simplified, we are also streaming on Twitch. Yay! Your requests from the previous stream worked. It's happening. Now, I have to warn you, my cat is with me on the table. He's literally right over here and he caught a really nice spot. But the problem with my cat is that he finds a spot and then he starts expanding. So I explained to him if he does any shenanigans, he's going to go to the living room. Okay? So if anything happens, if some equipment falls, it's my cat. Okay? I have an excuse. Cool. Thank you so much for being here in the comments. I see all the lovely people here. I see Richard. I see Ashish, Vladimir, Tiger, B, Eduardo, Juan, Pengu. Welcome, you guys. Thank you so much for leaving awesome comments. MH Gamer, Giovanni, NJ Gaming. Oh, lots of gaming folks on YouTube. I've expected you guys to be on Twitch. Cool. Thank you so much for joining. We have folks from LinkedIn now. Great. Awesome. This is how I know that my LinkedIn stream works. Yay. Hi everyone. Hi folks. Yay. Howdy. Hello. Cool. So there's really no specific topic for this stream. I'm basically going to go over your comments as usual. We're going to see if you have any questions, if you need some guidance about tutorials that were previously on this channel. I'll guide you through and I'll try to help in whichever way I can. Hey, thank you for your videos. They have been of help. Awesome. Glad to help. That's why I'm here. Cool. Yes. Exciting. Let's see what we have in the comments here. Cool. So the reason why I came to stream today is basically because there's like a rise in subscribers and new viewers ever since September 1st. And I'm assuming that it has to do with the new school year. So welcome to all the students. If your lecturers are recommending this channel, please let me know. I get reports of it all the time. I love hearing about it. It makes me feel smart. So definitely let me know if you're new to this channel, what brought you here. Yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Not too much. We're strangers on the internet after all, but still. Introduce yourself. Let me know what brought you here, what type of Python goals you have. And yeah, we can go from there. Awesome. So we have folks who need a Django video. I already have a Django video. It is a Django quick start. Not sure if you've noticed it. I'm going to pull out a bunch of videos that I have on my channel just to kind of give you a guidance, give you some guidance. Sorry. Here's my Django video. Django quick start. There you go. Check it out. I have a bigger Django project on my GitHub. If you're looking to combine databases and you're looking for a nice kind of template to have, definitely check out my GitHub for that. It's Maria Shah. On GitHub, not Python Simplified. Okay, there you go. That's Maria Shah. Here's my repository, and you should find a repository called Django Chat App or something along these lines. That's the one I refer to. Awesome. Cool. Добрый вечер, Олег. Здрасте, здрасте. Привет. Hello to all the non-English speaking folks. Hello from Germany. How do I say it in German? Wie geht es dir? Or wie geht's? Hello. I only know enough German from, Rammstein songs. I don't really have a big vocabulary, let's say. Adam, if it is possible, we need the course about using Python in your fencing. I'm an immigrant, you guys. I don't know all the words in the world. Like images. I'm great with images. I'm a graphic designer, but I'm not sure what jar facing means. Yes, скажи чебурашка. Вот, пожалуйста, чебурашка. I've said чебурашка before on this channel. We used it as a dummy password for one of our bots, I believe. Чебурашка, it's a national hero of the Soviet Union. It's like a bear mouse type of a creature that has a pal crocodile Gena, So a lot of folks coming, from this region of the world were probably familiar with Cheburashka. Yeah. I'm wondering what songs Rammstein asked, how are you? None of them probably. They're singing about other stuff like "Komm mit mir, komm auf mein Schloss." Yeah, my German is not particularly good, but I'd love to learn a bit more for sure. So what I'm gonna do in this stream, and I've done it in a previous stream as well, I'm gonna scroll to the bottom of the comments. If you have something very, very important to say, maybe it's okay if you can like send me like, I don't know, a few 5 cents or something in a super chat. I see it popping on my screen when I see a super chat. That's one of the first things that kind of catches my attention. I honestly like it doesn't really matter, but if you have something important to say, that's the way to get there. If you don't have a lot of important things to say, if you just want to chat, if you want to discuss some stuff with the community in the comments, or if you want to um, just say something nice, I don't know, I'm gonna pop up a bunch of comments, regardless of super chats or whatever. But I might skip your comments. I'm sorry because there's a lot of comments here, so I'm gonna kind of uh, do my best. Cool. So thank you so much for joining, folks. I have a bunch of questions here that I'm going to get to. Hi, Maria. How's everything going? Following you for a long time. Yeah, hi. Thank you so much. That's awesome. You are doing a pretty good job. Thank you. Thank you. Super happy to be here. What we want to learn? That's a great question. That's an incredible question that only you know. I'm not sure. If it's up to me, we will learn machine learning. That's the only thing we'll do here, like deep learning, machine learning. But it's not up to me. You guys get to decide a lot of these things. Cool. Is there a way to include icon bitmap, icon name.ico, from Python scripts to the Py installer without the need to do the setup thing? Yeah, you can there's autopy to exe. It's not just PyInstaller. So PyInstaller, this is how we convert a to all those who are new to these type of stuff. This is how we convert a Python file into an actual program. We use something called PyInstaller or something called autopy to exe. I have a tutorial covering it. Actually, I have several tutorials covering it. So my recent one, I'm sure many of you have seen this one, judging by the amount of views. This is the Convert GUI app to real program. This one is using Eno setup. It creates a proper setup file that you can install. So the question here, I'm assuming, is a question of, can you do this without the setup file? Can you do this only for the exe? And yes, you can do it. If you go back a few years back, actually, one of the first very largely viewed videos of this channel. Let me scroll there. Let me go there. Holy smokes, where are you? I'm going to find it. Hopefully I didn't miss it already because I remember it was a very long time ago. There you go. Convert Pi to exe. So this tutorial is using, I lost it again. Sorry, guys. This is how you can tell this is an unscripted, unplanned type of stream. Never mind. I just showed it to you. But in the new tutorial, in the old, sorry. Let me start all over. In the old tutorial, I show you how to convert to an executable file and using an icon that you have on your system. It's not a setup file, it's an executable file. And if that's what you seek, you found it. And then I lost it. See if I can find it again. No, forget about it. It's tough. Tough. Large language model. Cool. Yeah, I can definitely teach it. That would be awesome. But maybe we should start from like something a bit more simple, some dense layers, fully connected layers, stuff like that. Large language model layers are, you need to understand a few things before you can go there. But, if we do some more simple deep learning projects, I think I can explain them more properly. Because I don't want to just kind of show you a project. This is how I do it. And if you stray away slightly from the way I do it, you wouldn't know what you're doing. I don't want to do this type of stuff. I want to explain everything I do so that you can take it into your own applications and kind of build upon it. Yeah. Ciao di Italia. Ciao. Hello. Big thanks for all the great videos. Super helpful. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Hardik is here. Video on ITSM model. ITSM model. What is ITSM? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. IT service management. Is that what you meant? Um, like a chat GPT type of a model that kind of helps you with IT. Is your computer plugged in? Stuff like that. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? Maybe I might do something like that. Maria, is there a way that I can make my Tkinter app responsive? Your follower from Egypt. Ahlan wa sahlan, ya habibi. We have, let's see, Tkinter app responsive. So basically, you mean that it's going to adjust to whatever window size you have. Um, it's a good question. I'll look into it. Because what we usually do, if you use relative coordinates, so instead of specifying type pixel related distances and measurements, you basically specify percentage related measurements, and then it basically calculates. So whatever size your screen is, your button takes up 20% of it. So this is usually how we solve these type of stuff. I don't know if there's anything particular that we can do for Tkinter in that realm. Maybe there's a better solution. I'll look into it. Um, what else? When is the next code jam happening? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It depends not only on me, it also depends on the modes on Discord. If it's something that they're interested in doing, we will do it. And yeah, but every code jam generally involves a lot of work. Our last code jam was quite hectic, because you got to check those projects, you got to support them, you got to initialize everything, you got to make blog posts, you got to advertise it. So it takes quite some time and a lot of effort. And if I see more interest, from you guys, we will do it. A lot of the teams that started the previous code jams, they didn't really finish the jam. So a lot of members kind of disappeared along the way. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I have it in mind for sure. The next code jam, I'm thinking of taking a project that is like pre-made, something that we already started for you guys, and then you can take it into your own realm. So if we're doing like a video game, we'll do like a template on our end with all the mods. We'll do like a template of a pie game or something along these lines, and then you can get it on your end and develop it further and see where your creativity kind of takes you. So I'm going to scroll down to the very, very bottom of the comment. Sorry, guys, if I missed your comment. My apologies. I want to be kind of, I want to have the most accurate, the most current comments coming first. You can fix ratio of window size by reading the pixel screen size. So also pretty much, so you are fetching from your I'm not sure if it's the operating system or the interface. You're fetching the size of the screen, and then you can use it. You store it in a variable at the very top of your Tkinter script, and then basically every time you try to place some items on the screen, um, you place it at width divided by 4. So you fetch the width first, and then you kind of use it as a variable throughout your software. So if there is like a different if there's a um, different computer that opens your application, it will be adjusted to this computer. Cool. Thank you so much for answering those questions, guys. It's awesome. I love the fact that people get to ask questions, and then not just me answering, but our entire community, and that you can kind of pick and choose the best approach, what sounds better to you in these type of stuff. Cool. Is Python gonna be staying for a long time? Oh yeah. Python is just beginning, folks. I say it with confidence. I rarely say things with confidence, but when you look at the graph of which programming language is more popular, I think Python has some incredible results. If you go to like Google Trends, let's do it now, actually. I'll have you here. Google Trends. There you go. I only press Google, and then it suddenly offers me Google Trends. See, I work very closely with Google Trends. What did I do? Oh, I didn't press on it. Sorry. Google Trends. And let's type Python. Okay. We will not restrict it to Canada. Let me make myself kind of smaller, guys. Sorry about that. I don't want my head to block everything. There you go. So if we search for Python worldwide, not in a past day, but in the past 5 years. Okay. And then we search for C++. Okay, well, C++ is a bit more popular. How about C sharp? Okay, let's see. C sharp, not as much. What else do we have here? JavaScript? There you go. This is pretty much the popularity of these languages in terms of like Google searches. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Python is rising a little bit. You cannot say that it's rising a lot in the past 5 years. If we look at uh, 2004 till present, you can see that Python has some incredible results. There you go. That's the graph. It's definitely on the rise. Um, it depends if you're a big fan of statistics or not. If you are, you'll probably notice that, Python is growing. Okay, my cat is moving. My cat is moving. He's fine. Okay, he moved. That's it. There is no danger for dropping items and stuff. תודה רבה, חיים שלי. It's like it's hard because he really wants to be part of so whenever I'm in a certain room, he's always sitting with me. But the problem is when you're filming and you only have so much room on the table and that there's like a creature on it keeps moving and stuff, your lights are falling, everything is falling, there's hair everywhere. I have a bunch of actually bloopers. How do you call those videos? They're just like, it wasn't intended and then something stupid happened. I have a lot of bloopers involving my cat. I should probably upload it one day. It's actually quite funny. Let's see. Which engine would you suggest to learn, Unity or Unreal? So I'm a bit biased because right now I'm working on a Unity project. That's why I would tell you Unity. But other than that, whatever your heart desires. It depends on which kind of programming language you're more comfortable with. Unity is C sharp, Unreal. Let's see which language it uses. I'm not sure. Unreal engine language. C++. Okay, so it's a matter of whether you like C++ or C sharp better. As far as I'm concerned, they're very, very similar. I don't necessarily see a lot of difference between them, but maybe that's because kind of I'm programming for quite some time, so you end up recognizing patterns, and it's very hard to determine which language the pattern is in. I often jump from Python to JavaScript to other languages and whatever. So, yeah, but I really like Unity. The reason why I like it is because you have this cool editor, and you can then connect it to all kinds of scripts that you're making, and you can either connect it via code or you can either connect it via the interface, the design software. It's up to your preferences, right? But I think it's really cool. It's just hard to work in a team. Okay, the only caveat I have is that whenever you're working in a team on a Unity project, some members would like to code everything. Other members would like to design them on the interface and assign a bunch of scripts, standalone scripts on a bunch of standalone items. It makes the workflow a bit more difficult, as far as I'm concerned, at least so far. Favorite Bollywood actor. Raj Shamshir Kapoor. I only know it with the Russian accents because I used to watch these videos when I was a kid. But Raj Shamshir Kapoor. I'm saying it wrong probably. But you guys, you probably know him. If you know Bollywood films, like he was. Actually, the reason why I'm Maria is because there was not because of Jesus's mom. That's what everybody thinks. But no, it's not like Mother Mary. It's because there was a Bollywood series, back in the Soviet Union that my parents used to watch. It was called Just Maria or something like that. I don't know. And they're like, I really like the name. So that's why I am Maria. איך את יודעת עברית? How do I know Hebrew? I grew up in Kiryat Shmona. Hello. Yeah, I've immigrated from Crimea when I was like very, very young. I was only 6. And I grew up there. And then as soon as I could leave, I found myself in Canada. I went on a nice trip to Canada. I met Mario, fell in love, and I fell in love in Canada with Canada in general. It was beautiful, so I decided to stay. Many, many years later, here I am. There you go. So that's my life story. But cool. Hi, Pavel. Hello, hello. Uh, oh, I see the same comments now. Favorite Bollywood actor. There you go. Let's go to the very, very bottom. See what else here. Joining from Dallas, Texas. Hello and yeehaw! Friends from Texas. Bulgaria. Hello, hello, Preslav. My spouse Mario, he's from Bulgaria. Actually, I need to call the Bulgarian embassy in Ottawa today. I need to. That's why our stream might be a bit shorter because they're going to close. Ottawa is a few hours. They have a different time zone than myself, so I'm going to have to call a bit later. Cool. Hello from Brazil. Hello. Tudo bem? Tudo bem. Hello. Have you got any amazing ideas about the usage of Spotify API that can be implemented that never have been? Well, you could probably I'm not familiar with the API, but if you actually have access to the music, maybe you can use it as some kind of a data set for machine learning applications. Like, I'm pretty sure it's been done before, but yeah, I need to look at the API. I need to see exactly what they have over there and what they offer you. Definitely have a look at him. Can we see Neo? We want to greet him. So Neo is right over here. He can hear you. He's sleeping on my notebook. I should probably take a photo of him and then I can post it somewhere. I'll try to. Ooh, sorry guys. I now have a fancy screen protector. I got a new phone. It's the Samsung Galaxy, the newest Ultra, whatever it is. So now I need to protect the cameras. Look at all these giant cameras, super expensive. So I have this thing that shuts it down, really nicely. So let me take a photo of Neo as he's here, and then I'll try to post it later on. Sorry if you can't see me. I'll try to post it elsewhere. He's so cute. He's sleeping. Oh, cool. So Python developer or Java developer, who earns more? Wow. It's a very general question. Depends on the company, depends on your level of experience, depends on, what type of things you're doing. Because you could be a Python developer who is arranging a data set. Okay, anyone can do that. Or you can be like a Python developer that is making like very sophisticated machine learning architectures or deep learning architectures. So your value kind of changes with these type of stuff. But Java is a very low level language. You need to, I think that in terms of knowledge, you have a bit more knowledge when it comes to Java. Python is a bit more ambiguous. You don't really have to specify how many bits each of your variables takes up in space, in memory. Space. Look at me. But yeah, I know that Java is really, really good in terms of cellular applications, like smartphone applications, when it comes to Android in particular. So folks who are interested in Java, they're usually kind of going into, well, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of folks that I know who are Java developers end up, in the mobile industry. Folks who are generally Python developers, they end up in other industries. Some of them are doing like back-end work, with Django and Flask. Some of them are doing like data science, these type of stuff. So it depends what you're doing with those languages, and it depends on a specific job position that you're applying to, right? Cool. Let's see. Let's go to the very, very bottom of the comments. Let's see all the lovely people who joined. I'm from New Orleans. Hello, hello. There is a house in New Orleans. I'm not gonna sing it because I'll get sued. But one of my favorite songs. I always change it to Hastings Street because we have a street in Vancouver that is not known for positive behavior. But only Vancouverese will will understand it. Cool. So Python has been integrated with Excel. Will this help even more in the language search? So the problem that I see with that is like, how many of us are actually using Excel? Like, you use it in a professional workspace. Yes, if you work in a certain office, they most likely have the Microsoft Office installed. But since Microsoft Office made it paid applications, because Excel is not free anymore. It used to be free. I used it since I was a child, right? And now suddenly it costs money. So unless you are a data scientist that kind of does it on a daily basis, why on earth would you buy, the Office suite? I don't have the Office suite. I have something called WSP, I think. No, it's not called like that. WPS? Yeah, WPS Office. I don't have it on this computer, apparently, but it's called WPS Office. Um, it's a suite that is absolutely for free. Okay. And this is something that lives on your computer. If you're looking for other suites, which is the ones that I'm actually using all the time, I'm using the Google Suite, right? Everything is on a cloud, everything is organized, is stored. So if people were actually using Excel as much as we used to use it, yeah, that would be amazing. That would bring like Python one step forward. But I see, how much attention it gets, and I don't think it gets, a lot of attention from Pythoneers. It gets more attention from, data scientists or economists or people who are already working with Excel on a professional level. That's what I find. Excel was never free. What? Not where I'm from. Was I pirating it all my life? Is that what you want to tell me? I had it for free. Okay, but since I know Russian, I get access to a lot of pirate sites. So maybe I was pirating it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Did you guys have it for free too, or was I the only one? I don't know. Let me know. Okay, any thoughts to make Python apps that does and uses zero knowledge system or zero knowledge proofs? Not yet. Not yet. So right now, I have a few projects lined up, very exciting projects. When you hear, when you hear about them, you'll be very, very excited. One of them is a cybersecurity project, basically concealing your identity completely. I'm not talking about like a VPN. I'm talking about like a full blown digital ghost type of a scenario. It's a special type of browser that I'm going to cover shortly. Okay, so basically in this project, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it because I've already started to talk about it. I'm going to make a website. I'm going to publish it, deploy it so we all can access it. And basically in this website, I'm going to demonstrate how easy it is to extract private information about your system, about you, about everything you do on your computer without you even knowing it. Okay, I'm going to show you how it works because my first idea for a cybersecurity video was like, how can we be detected as bots? How can our automated browsers be detected? It brought me from this Cloudflare idea that I had because Cloudflare are sorry Cloudflare are blocking your bots. Okay, it's basically a security layer, security packages that you add to your site that detect an automated browser, request from an automated browser. So my initial idea was like, hey, what exactly are those services used to detect us as bots? What type of information about our system they use? And I thought I can narrow it down to 3 or 5 categories. Long story short, I met with someone from Bright Data who's like an expert in these type of stuff. And he was like, Maria, they can detect everything, including the fonts on your system, how many of them, which of them you have. They know everything about the speed of your internet. They can fetch all this information about you. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Because if we imagine, okay, we are using a Flask or a Django backend for our site. What if we combine it with the OS module, right? What if we fetch the documents folder or the C directory of the computer? What if we check if it's a Windows system, then we fetch C. If it's Linux, we fetch some other folder. We have access to all of this information from Python, right? So what prevents us from integrating it into our site? Nothing. Nothing. So there's a gap between the information that we think that sites collect about us and the type of information that they are capable of collecting without us knowing it. So the next video is about that. Okay, so I'm going to start working on it shortly. But yeah, that's the next project. And then we have 2 machine learning projects, which are very, very exciting as well. It's going to be amazing. Okay, I'm going to cover TensorFlow. Finally. Okay, I promised you for a long time we're going to cover it. So we're going to do some nice neural networks, probably image classification or We'll see. We'll see. One of them will definitely be a text generating model. The other one will be related to images. I'm still thinking about it in my head. But cool. Who is Leo? Probably it's a misspelling of Neo. Neo, the one, Keanu Reeves from The Matrix. That's my cat. Okay, and he's here. So he's not Leo. He's Neo. Evening, man. Where are you gonna make a Java tutorial? How can we make a Java tutorial on Python simplified? We can't. We can't. Sorry, Freddie. We're not gonna have Java tutorials here. Uh, cool. Sorab is also working on a TensorFlow project. Which one? Something interesting? Share with us in the comments. I'm working. Actually, I have it here. It was training. I think as I started the stream. Yeah, and it finished training. Ugh. Yeah, that oh, sorry, that's not the validation. That's the accuracy. That's not validation. My apologies. So it's not too bad, even though it's kind of bad, but that's my validation accuracy loss. As you can tell, it was training for quite some time. So basically, I've loaded the Sentiment 140 data set. And I shouldn't be showing you this because this is part of my midterm, my final exam at school. Okay, so forget what you've seen right now. I shouldn't have shown it to you, but what I'm basically doing, I'm taking the Sentiment 140 data set. It's a giant data set, about like a million and something samples. Okay, so I reduced it. I pre-processed it. That was not an easy job. It's basically a data set that fetches a lot of comments from Twitter, a lot of tweets, a lot of comments, a lot of replies, and whatever. Um, and uh, and basically, it gives it a score of like, is it a negative or a positive comment? So 0 is negative, 4 is positive. So it's like a binary type of a classification. It's really, really cool. Um, yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. I'm just a beginner to coding. What advice can I get from you? Experiment. Okay? Just because somebody tells you something, it doesn't mean that it's the best way of doing it. Unless you experiment it and see it with your own eyes and understand why this advice is good for you, don't just take it. Okay? Because there are a lot of developers who have their own way of doing things, which is great. You know, each of us have our own preferences, our own aesthetics, our own I personally always prefer working with list comprehensions. Okay, so in the case of there's benefits and there's disadvantages. Okay, so each of us have our own type of workflow. So basically find what works for you yourself. Okay, you can take advices, but always double check everything. That's my advice. But don't expect to know everything right away. Basically, I think there's this misconception that anyone who wants to be a software developer can do it like that. Okay, you can get like a very high paying job for you know yeah, I'll just learn for a month or two and then I get like so much money. I'll get the job of my dreams and I'll move forward. Because there's a lot of YouTube, like to be fair, there's a lot of YouTubers who are like, well, here's how I got a job for like $100,000 per year after I learned coding for 1 month. Here's how you can do the same. Do you really believe these guys? Honestly, if it was so easy, we would all, like all the people in Walmart, all the people in McDonald's, all the people everywhere, they'd be working in tech with very, very high paying jobs. It's like those articles that you read. What was it? I think it was OpenAI or like Google or like all those companies that are now like hiring, AI experts and stuff like that. They're offering paychecks of like up to 9,000, sorry, $900,000 per year. Okay, they're advertising. Oh, you can earn up to $900,000 per year. Really, really? I don't believe you. Anthony Fauci, the most highly paid, I think, bureaucrat in the United States, is making way less than that. You think that now by graduating from university you're going to get the salaries? No, they don't offer it to regular people. They offer it to people like, I guess, like Jeffrey Hinton, right? But unless you invented, dropout, unless you invented something like very, very intense in the field of AI, unless you are known as this like prominent figure there. The chances of you like getting a job in a like for so much money, like it's almost $1 million a year. It's a lot of money, folks. Okay, the chances of you getting this type of offer are like, I'm not gonna say they don't exist. There's always a chance, but it's silly. The things I read online, about developers and jobs and stuff like that, in reality, they don't always match. Um, how did I get here talking about this type of stuff? From an advice to a beginner comment. I am so sorry, Munta. I kind of digressed. There's things that bother me, and they keep taking over. Sorry. Um, Whatever can be detected by JavaScript, they will get this. Nothing else like Windows version, Windows font, but browser font, etc. So not all the sites have a JavaScript backend. Okay, so right now, so yeah, back in the day, Node.js was like number one. Everyone would use it, but there's like a shift. There's definitely a bit of a shift. People use more and more Python, and with Python, you can do all these. So whenever you have a Python backend, when you have like a Django Flask or some other new things coming out, whenever you have this type of interface, everything you can do with Python locally on your system, you can do on your server. Well, almost everything. Sorry. Okay, I should always be careful. Um, but yeah, so yeah, JavaScript is a bit more limited to browser interactions. I cannot say the same about Python. Okay, so since Python was introduced to backends, the amount of information that can be fetched about your system and your identity and all kinds of stuff is not only limited to your browser activity. Okay, your entire system is included in it. So whenever bots are being detected, they're not necessarily being detected from browser related commands. They used to be. That's why we had some solutions to kind of bypass Cloudflare protection before. There was invisible web driver there, or undetectable web, I don't know, there was like some solutions like open source and free libraries you could download, but not anymore. It doesn't work. So it's interesting. But the thing is, like, I don't know how many sites are still being protected by Cloudflare. That's the only caveat I have, because a lot of the sites that were protected previously by them are no longer protected. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe they boosted their prices or whatever. Plus, there's different levels of protection, and different browsers get to do different things. Like I got 4 links. Okay, so the cybersecurity individual that I met with, like it was a conference, like a video conference meeting. He sent me 4 links to sites that are all protected with Cloudflare. I was able to open 2 of them uh, on my end, so, which shouldn't be the case usually, but I used a Firefox Gecko driver and it worked. So I don't know. It has to do with your location, and maybe it has to do with your browser. I don't even know. I just used regular Selenium and it kind of bypassed it. So who knows? But yeah, we'll be tackling it. Like, I will demonstrate everything I'm saying. Like, I don't want you to just take my words. I want you to try it on your end so you can see that's how it actually works, and then you can use this information for your own projects. Swinging by to say hi. Hello, Power Core. Hi, thank you. You work anywhere? I work on Python Simplified, and like I'm a full-time student as well. I'm taking this channel to the next step. I'm trying to grow it from all kinds of different exciting directions. Really working on it hard lately. And yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting. There's a lot of cool stuff coming. So looking forward. Dragon Gardon, do you ever try to build an algorithm in quantum computer? No, I'm not that smart. Maybe I might be one day, but when it comes to like quantum computing, I keep thinking about like the string theory and stuff like that, and I cannot fully understand it. And I don't know if anyone can fully understand it. I don't think that Einstein fully understood it. It was like, well, it's like saying that, the moon is only there when I look. It's like it's hard. It's hard to perceive it. I see the quantum theory as something a bit more spiritual than applicable in science, only because I can't understand it. If I can't understand it, I can believe in it, but unless I understand it, I know nothing about it. I know some, but not enough to discuss it live. Can you cover time series on Transformer? Sure. Sure, we can do something like that for sure. So time series, we can do like uh, I guess we can do some regression tasks, perhaps. So there's the projects that everyone knows how to do. So we have the regression with like Boston housing. Like I'm gonna pull it out here. That's something we've done in school. So there's the databases that everyone is using that are pretty straightforward, and we can use them like to learn. It's not going to be the most elaborate project in the world, but um, that's basically from my school. Okay. Um, there you go. That's the Boston housing stuff. So I'll look into it. Okay. I do have some material that I can cover. I just, I'm not sure if I want to cover the things that everybody knows how to do, like to cover all those data sets that were already used in all kinds of blogs and tutorials and other videos. I'm thinking about it, but yeah, for sure, we'll do something with a time series, 100%. But maybe I didn't understand your question. There's always a chance. Yeah, you guys, I when I say I'm answering questions, I try answering questions. It's hard when you're on the spot. There's and you got to think about things to say. It's not, you're not always saying the right things. It's just a warning, okay? Привет, очаровашка. Спасибо большое. Здрасте. Здрасте. Through deep learning AI. I guess we talked about some other stuff earlier. A project with TensorFlow. Okay, cool. Shah Rukh Khan, if you don't know, search on Google. Bollywood actor. Okay, cool, cool. Hello, James. Hello. Ma'am, can you make tutorials on Tkinter Python for making best GUI? Design animation in today's world. So the most recent Tkinter tutorial I have is actually pretty advanced. Like it's simply explained. It's very detailed. It's long. Okay. But other than that, it gives you a really nice background about Tkinter. Let me pull it out. Oh, it's been a while, eh? Here you go. Tkinter GUI app. Create GUI app with Tkinter and SQLite. So basically, you'll have a database. It's a random recipe picker application. It's really, really cool. It's going to give you a nice design tips and stuff like that. So what I usually do with applications, I pre-design them. I make like a wireframe or like a prototype using Adobe Illustrator or like XD or whatever software it is you're using. And basically then you kind of try to bring it to life. Like bring it implemented with code. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's scroll to the very bottom of the comments. Does they actually make mobile apps in Python? You can. Okay, there are tutorials on my channel where you can actually follow them and make your own applications for your own personal use. Kiwi MD, I highly recommend this library, not just because Kiwi MD is in our chat once in a while. Okay, but also because it's really, really nicely designed. It's a much better version of. So Kiwi has some basic design options. Kiwi MD is taking it to a completely different realm. You don't need to worry about anything. Everything is almost like ready for you. You just need to pick and choose the right widgets. So that's my Kiwi MD mobile app. I can see it here. Mobile app with Kiwi MD Python GUI for Android. And then you can actually convert it from Python into an Android application with this video. Convert Python to Android. Maybe I should enlarge. Yeah, I should enlarge it. That makes more sense. Okay, so there you go. Convert Python to APK. You can do it. Okay. Is it the smart way of doing it? Probably not. For personal projects, it's amazing. Okay, because it's much faster to make an application with Python. Okay, this is not very difficult. But when it comes to making commercial software, when it comes to like deploying actual applications, you can do it, but the industry standard is not Python. The industry standard is Kotlin or Java. So There's some other things you can learn, for Android stuff, but that's my 5 cents on it. My uncle, he's doing like actual mobile software. He made a few apps based on ChatGPT lately. Okay, so um, he, he basically he's not using Python. If that's what you're asking. I don't know if he even knows Python. Maybe now because he's working with some machine learning stuff, but he's using like Kotlin and Java. There was something else. I can't remember this one. There was another thing he was using. I'll remember it when the stream is over, I guarantee. Ah, we have a Badger here. There you go. Badger is an amazing mod, also on YouTube and on Discord. You've seen him a lot on this channel. Thank you so much for being here, man. Maui is a multi-platform app UI, Microsoft framework for one size fits all kind of thing for GUI apps. Awesome. Now we know what Maui is. Cool. Mm, so that's the most recent comments. Yeah. Hello to everyone. Hello. Hi. We have greetings from Sardinia. You are an amazing teacher and an entertainer. Am I? Is it entertaining? Yay. I'm so happy you find it entertaining because I'm always worried that you don't. Please keep doing what you do and keep spreading your vibes. Thank you so much. Yeah, I will. I definitely will. That's great. Explain it again. How could Cloudflare detect my local info? Is it a WebAssembly with Python or native app on C, Python? Because Cloudflare is online services embedded into web. So what Cloudflare does is it keeps changing the way you are detected. So that's what I don't think I explained it pretty well. But just because you are able to bypass it today, it doesn't mean that you'll be able to bypass it tomorrow. Because when it comes to securing your sites, it's an ongoing process. So yeah, you make one solution. So for example, maybe initially Cloudflare was detecting your headers, the headers that Selenium is sending, right? Because Selenium is sending some information to the request. It's transferring some information. So maybe at first they were detecting these headers. And only by this, they were detecting bots. Okay, so if you have these headers, if they receive these headers, this means that your browser is automated and they're sending you a CAPTCHA or whatever it is to double check if you are a bot or something like that. Then after we breached it, we were able to bypass it. There was some libraries that helped us bypass it, which was great. And for a few weeks, we were able to, scrape all the sites on the web. Great success. But then what happens? What happens is Cloudflare finds another way of detecting you. So right now, it's no longer looking at the headers. Now it is able to find some information about your operating system, right? So if you are operating a bot, if you're operating from a Internet of Things device, for example, some glasses or some headphones or whatever. We're getting into more cybersecurity things, but for example, if you are a professional bot maker, you're not just working with a single bot and a single browser instance. You're working with a whole army of bots. Sometimes those bots are legally bought. When you're working with companies, like Bright Data and Epify, you actually buy something called proxies, which are IP addresses. Sometimes they're mobile, sometimes they are computer addresses. A lot of devices that those companies are purchasing, and they let you borrow them for your needs. Okay, so this is proxies. Now, the only problem with this is that not all the proxies are legit. Okay, some companies, that's why you need to watch out from anyone who's promising you things. You need to do a lot of research that this company is legit. Okay, because what a lot of bad actors do is that they do not purchase these devices, they hack into them. And it's it's relatively easy to hack into Internet of Things devices because they don't really have an interface. So when you are hacking into somebody's phone, they will obviously see somebody operating the. You hack into somebody's computer and suddenly a browser window pops on the computer. You're like, hey, I'm not doing this, so my system must be hacked. But when somebody hacks into your refrigerator, guess what? You cannot browse, which maybe you can browse with nowadays refrigerators, but let's take your headphones as an example. Your headphones, they have an operating system. Any electronic device has an operating system. Very often it's a Linux system, okay? And these type of devices, you don't get a screen where you can interact with this device. You have a few buttons, right? So if this device is browsing the web and it's doing a bunch of stuff, you will never see it. You will never know it because there's no way for you to see it. That's why those Internet of Things devices are like amazing for hackers and stuff like that. Another benefit is that those devices are not being updated like almost at all. When was the last time you updated your refrigerator, right? Your laundry machine or whatever it is, whatever internet connected device you have in your house that is not a computer. Okay, computers, we update them all the time. Our operating system is being updated, unless you're using Linux, and then it's not necessarily being updated. But essentially, some bad people take over devices that do not belong to them, and from these devices they try to interact with websites. And so the next step in like detecting which device is legitimate and which is not is probably like fetching what fonts are installed on the operating system. It's just an example from the top of my head. It's something we'll probably do in the video. Okay. So they are able to fetch how many fonts you have. And if you have headphones, your headphones probably don't have any fonts. Okay. Or maybe they have just a single font, the basic fonts that come with like a Linux system. I don't know. So it's an ongoing struggle, right? So they keep finding new things of finding you. And I don't know if they are using C# or Python or JavaScript on their end. All I know is that if we are using Python, we can fetch all this information like that with no problem whatsoever. We can look for any file on any operating system and we can find it with Python. Okay. So it's a demo. It's not going to be a use case of Cloudflare, even though I will show you in the end of this video how you can bypass a Cloudflare protection, because it's one of the main reasons why I'm filming this video. But in general, the whole idea of this video is that just because you can bypass it now, it doesn't mean that it's going to work tomorrow. So you have to find a universal solution rather than just chasing them like a cat and mouse, right? So that's it was a long one. I think I need some coffee break after this one. Cool. Yeah, so Badger is saying if you guys keep repeating comments and keep spamming, Badger will delete you. Watch out. Watch out. I might too. Because so the thing with me though is that I don't know if comments repeat because you guys are sending them multiple times, or if it's because there's just some bugs in my StreamYard software. So I don't know. Web app, I guess, not software. I'm a beginner and I don't have any knowledge of IT subject. Some advised me to start learning cloud computing, but I'm interested in Python coding. Your advice, please. Well, you can do cloud computing with Python, but if you are just beginning in the world of IT, my cat is moving. If you are just beginning, aim to what you are capable of achieving. Okay, so usually if I need to start all over and to kind of learn programming from the beginning, I'd probably do it in the exact same way that I've done it. Okay, I started from websites. You get yourself comfortable with markup languages like HTML, CSS. Then you kind of move on with programming languages. You kind of move on with JavaScript, with Python. This is the type of realm where I would start if you know nothing of computers. If you have a little bit of a background, you can start with Python. Like it's perfectly fine because it's a language that is practically English. The only reason why I refer you to web development is because everything is very visual when you're dealing with web development. You can see the changes happening on your screen as soon as you change something in your code. Because it's so visual, it's a bit easier to work with websites. When we're working with Python, you either can start working with GUI applications, which is it's not the easiest thing in the world. When you're making desktop applications, it's a bit more difficult than browser based applications. Not in terms of the implementation, but in terms of you don't always see how everything manifests on the screen. um, some of your functions are not visually displayed. You need to be able to work with your terminal, with your console. So I don't know. um, it's hard for me to give advices on these type of topics, because my usual advice is just jump into the water. Just jump into the water and you'll learn how to swim one way or another. Just like aim. Sorry, my cat is expanding. Neo, Zeo. Sorry. Okay. I don't want my lights to fall. He took over a bigger portion of the table now, officially. Um, so yeah, when it comes to like coding and programming and software development, I know that Python is incredible. I love it. It's my favorite. But don't restrict yourself to Python only. Like there's so many other different languages that you can learn and you can look at and will help you develop your skills. Um, Even though I love Python and it's my favorite, I know more programming languages, and I do use them in my projects. It is what it is. Yeah, whatever you do. Sorry, I'm not gonna give silly advices. Forget about it. I'm gonna move on to the newest comments before I start digressing to other topics. What do you think of the CS50 course for learning the basics of computer science? I'm not sure about this course. Um, I would say that an incredible course for the basics of computer science would be by my lecturer from my university that you can find on Coursera. Now, to be fair, I don't know if it's the full course. I got it from my university, but if we look for what was it? What was the name of this course? Holy smokes. Basics computer? I don't think it was called that way. I don't know if I can find it. Holy smokes. There's a lot of courses here. UOL, University of London. Or maybe if we go to just the University of London, I can find this one for you. But it's a really, really good course. That's why I'm kind of insisting on you. No, that's not what I copied. Come on. University. Sorry, guys. Just UOL. UOL. Something is really buggy here. I can't blame my cat because he sleeps. It's my computer's fault. Master in cybersecurity, graduate, blah, blah, blah. Come on. Come on. Gillis. It's a how computers work. This is how it's called. Okay. How computers work. The UOL Coursera. There you go. Ha. Found it. Found it. I am sending it to you guys in the best computer basics course. There you go. Of course, I have typos. Yeah. So yeah, you can actually start it for free. Um, there you go. It's a really, really, really nice course. It will teach you all the fundamentals of computers, like how bytes and bits and how the hardware works. It's going to teach you about, the bus, on your system. It's going to teach you about CPU. It's going to teach you about some basic CPU operations. How memory is stored, things like that, like binary to decimal. If you're not familiar with these type of stuff, they're not going to teach you much about GPUs, but you can find this information on my website. Yeah, on my website, on my channel. Holy smokes! Let's see what we have here. Uh, okay, Badger. I don't make Python GUI apps. I have heard some nightmare stories though, so I don't envy your situation. Okay, it's according to a previous comment. Hmm. I don't know if I can fetch it at this moment. But cool. I really like Python GUI applications, but again, I'm a bit biased. I particularly enjoy them. I like the fact that everyone can make this application. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to like be very very good with programming. As long as you can make something work and you can follow a good tutorial, guess what? You can deploy your application. You can, I know a lot of folks who develop things for their family. I've heard some comments from viewers, making things for their niece, for their kids. Just nice application for them to have on their phone. They can say to all their friends, "Hey, my mom made it." It's really nice. Flask GUI seems to be. Oh, holy smokes, you guys! Sorry. Flask Web GUI seems to be very good to serve Flask apps, but it is not JavaScript friendly. Any ideas, anyone? Yeah, I just use PyScript. It might be a bit slower than JavaScript, but PyScript is what we do with Python on the front end. So you can basically dispose of all your JavaScript files and use Python instead. PyScript. We had a live stream slightly covering it on the channel quite a while ago, actually. Let me see. When it first came out, there you go. So this PyScript first impressions, well, actually second impressions. I wasn't brand new to it. But yeah, it was covered on the channel before. Check it out. They have newer stuff. Actually, I have a perfectly good to go tutorial about PyScript ready. The code, the script, everything is ready. I'm just waiting for Anaconda to implement some running command, because right now you need to run a Python server with like Python -m HTTP, whatever the generic type of a server, but they want to change it to PyScript run. That's basically what I'm waiting for a few months. So as soon as they do that, if they do it, they do that, I'll film my tutorial. I'm kind of losing hope. They told me we'll update it in about a month, and it's been a few months, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to, push them or anything. It's weird. I have this project ready and good to go, but I can't do anything about it. It's silly. Hello, I'm from Brazil. Hello, hello. I've learned a lot of with your videos. I want to start study computer engineering and computer science in college. Do you have any advice for me? As someone who is already studying uh, computer science in university, not exactly college, I can't tell you that I'm particularly impressed with what I'm learning. Um, I don't know. I feel like it's good that I'm working towards this degree, and I'll probably benefit from it in the future. It would be really cool saying BSc next to my name. you know. Um, but to tell you that I've learned something that I couldn't have learned elsewhere, no. And mind you, my university is online. Okay, if my university was physical, if I was physically attending classes and meeting people and have access to my lecturers, I can ask questions, I can, I'm a normal student, if it was the case, I'd probably be much more excited about university. This online learning path, it worked well because I started learning while universities have shut down, and I was the only one who was actually learning because it was online. Um, Now when universities are back in full capacity, there is really no reason to do the online thing unless you have like a full-time job, and you don't want to quit. And it's a nice after work kind of a thing, or you have like family obligations or stuff like that. If you have like a very hectic schedule and you cannot be um, in the same place every day for the same amount of time, then definitely an online degree is pretty good. But other than that, you're not getting the same learning experience as you would if you are in class, and you can see the face of your lecturer, you can see their mouths move, you get to meet like a lot of folks with similar interests to you. You get to meet a lot of people who will be working in this industry eventually. You don't know how many of your classmates will be running like fancy companies and stuff. So when you're in university, what you do is networking. Plus, a lot of universities, they have nice seminars where folks from different companies are coming. This is the advice. Okay, so it took me time to get here. Look for the university that works with recruiters from the companies where you want to work in the future. So let's say you have a dream of working with Tesla. Make sure you are finding the university that has Tesla recruiters coming to it to look for new employees. Okay, because there's different universities work with different companies. Also depends on your location. Because if you're in Vancouver, most likely, whether you're in SFU or in UBC, probably similar companies will be working with you. The big names, stuff like that. But when you're working in a smaller place, make sure that you can tailor the type of companies who you're who are scouting for fresh graduates in your university. Okay, that's the only consideration that I would think in terms of the name of the university or the college. I don't think it matters, honestly, unless you go to like Stanford or like to really like famous facilities. I don't think it's important at all. In terms of grades, as long as you pass, you get the exact same grades that everyone gets if they're doing a very, very good job. Sorry, you get the exact, your grades is not something that somebody will look at when they're hiring you. They will look at whether you have a degree or not, but what type of average you have doesn't matter. Okay, they'll probably look at your projects and they'll realize what kind of average score you had. But yes, always think about where you want to work and how you want your future to look like, and then narrow down from there. Where I want to be in 5 years. Okay, how am I going to get there? Set yourself a goal, and then everything else is pretty much, it's a piece of cake. um Hope it helped. Yeah. So get to know the web first with the front end. Good advice. Yeah, because it's generally easy. And also HTML is is something that is quite intuitive. You get to work with tags. You get to explore, divisions. Like I always have trouble with this world putting things into compartments, compartmentalizing, com- compartmentalizing. Com- you know what I mean. You learn how to structure things, how to logically um, bundle different elements in your site. And it can be visualized very easily. Sorry, you guys. I don't know what's wrong with me. Blah, 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 blah. I needed to do some warm up before I started talking today. You guys are the first entities I'm discussing things with this morning. So, I haven't had a chance to talk a lot with my family today. So, my apologies for all the speakos. Okay. I have been watching your videos for a while. Much easier to understand over others. Yay. That's awesome. I am a computer science major and I have to do C++ class and Python class. That's awesome. Yeah. In my university too. C++, Python, and oddly P5JS. Oddly. It's very, very odd. Don't know why would anybody teach it. Like, it's nice for one project. It definitely helps you grasp um, you know, computer science concepts, but every project P5JS, that's not an industry standard. Where have you seen a company that makes like web applications with P5JS? Where was it ever a requirement? Just doesn't make any sense. What are your thoughts on Mojo programming language? So I haven't even looked into it, but I've heard it's very fast. Okay, the superest the superset of Python that will have union structures and pointers. You think this will make drastic change? Um, Probably, yeah. If you can make things faster, it's always a nice change. The question is how intuitive it is and um how comprehensive it is. Like, how many things can you do with it? Because I think one of the biggest benefits of Python is that you can use it for so many things, right? There are things that it is standing out at. When it comes to data science, obviously Python has the upper hand. But if Mojo If Mojo is versatile, that would definitely be a good thing to look at. No questions asked. Like I'm always open minded, when it comes to new things, especially if they're actually improving your workflow rather than just like listening to people saying that it might. I need to look into it for sure. Yeah. Let's go to the bottom. Uh, Anna, included on my Coursera Plus subscription. That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. That's the course that I posted a while back. Um, Actual use of Django framework except of developing websites. That's the only use of the framework. There is no reason for you to use it unless you're making a website. My cat is yawning. Yeah, it's a web. It's like a web framework. So that's the only thing you do with it, as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I have a PC game in the making. Nice. That's awesome. So do I. It's like a team game. Unfortunately, I would have loved to do it by myself, but we're doing it with a team, and it's quite challenging. It's quite challenging. I need to make our GitHub repository public soon. Um, Not easy. So basically, whenever you're working with yourself, when you merge new code into your like repository on GitHub, it's quite easy. There's not a lot of conflict because you're the only one who's working on it. But when you're working in a team, each of you has a different branch, and not all the when you're branching out, it's very hard to follow who did what on which branch, and it's crazy. We ended up basically assigning days. you know, on Sunday the repository is yours. On Monday the repository belongs to somebody else, and then we're doing it step by step, making sure that we're not deleting anybody else's work. So there's where we are. Hello there. Wanted to say thanks for your Kiwi MD tutorial. Awesome. It saved me and my group project, which I had to carry by myself. I know how you feel. My previous team project was like that. Right now, at least I have I do have some help, fortunately. So lots of stress, but I managed thanks to you. That's awesome. Super happy to hear. That's great. That's why I'm here, right? I wouldn't be here otherwise. Again, start Python course. So Python, I'm assuming Python from beginner, for beginners course. Maybe I'll just do a nice live stream covering that. Just whatever. Um, awesome. Cool. Yeah, Badger. Okay, I'm gonna read Badger as well because Badger, he was in college. So I personally did not like this computer science degree path. Could vary between colleges. As Python simplified, I noticed that we spend a good chunk of time learning things from outside the school. Yeah. I it's So if you want to follow the curriculum, you max yourself out at a grade of 70, at least in my university. If you do everything by the book, if you follow all their requirements, you get 70. I'm not kidding. One time I thought they are kidding, so I submitted a project just as they asked it, and I got 70. So that was not good. Okay. I don't like 70 when it comes to grades, okay? I'm more of a 90 plus type of a person. That's where I'm aiming, okay? 100, but 90 plus is acceptable. 80 is 70 is awful. Like why? But I was saying something. Oh, yeah, if you want to get like to 90, you got to learn things outside your school. So you basically need to kind of reinvent the wheel. That's why when I'm working on a neural network, like right now, what I showed you in the beginning of the stream, I'm not working on a data set that you can like fetch directly from like TensorFlow or Keras. I'm working on a data set that you need to physically download on your system. You then need to pre-process it. You need to do a lot of things that you wouldn't need to do if you used a ready data set. Now, the requirement of my project was, just using a regular TensorFlow Keras dataset. But of course, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to reinvent the wheel, you guys. Of course. So yeah, what I'll be doing from now until the 18th, which is when I submit this project, is basically just self-exploration. Yeah, I followed what my lecturers told me. Some of it was incredible, right? Some of it was not as much. But you mostly look for external sources to back up any claims. Yeah, yeah. It didn't end up working, unfortunately, and I hate Kiwi now. Should I thank you for that too, lol? But I was able to show my work and pass the exam. Great, great. So it didn't end up working, eh? The thing about this. Oh, thank you so much. I got a super chat. I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna finish this comment, and I'm gonna move on. The thing about this Android tutorial is that it's funny because there's a lot of things that can go wrong. I find that the biggest problem that people have, and it's what I had for about 3 days that I couldn't solve it, is that you don't specify all the requirements. There are certain requirements that Kiwi has that you never like install in addition to Kiwi, but Kiwi installs them like automatically. So very often when you are stuck, and so what happens is your application is already on the phone. It's already here. You're pressing it and it collapses immediately. If that what happens, it most likely has to do with requirements. Okay, so example, if you have an image on anywhere on your Kiwi or Kiwi MD app, you need to have pillow as a requirement, because that's what the library is using to display images. It's not something you import into your code. Okay, you don't have import pillow whenever you're making a Kiwi application, but it's still a requirement. It is automatically imported when you import Kiwi or like Kiwi images or whatever it is. So keep that in mind. Okay, just because you didn't import the library doesn't mean that it's not a requirement of your project. That's short. In short, cool. Let's read the super chat. How do I make it bigger? How do I make it bigger? Oh, there you go. Okay, thanks again. Is Badger and I correct in our assessment of Kiwi Python being sub suboptimal when making mobile apps? Yeah, I would. That's a great way of phrasing it. Actually, suboptimal. Love it. I've never used this word before, but I'm gonna steal it. Thank you so much for the super chat. This is awesome. Yes, if you want to make professional Android applications, you'll probably go the JavaScript, Kotlin. What was the other thing? What was the name that I'm looking for? My uncle has a a Medium article about this one, and I can't remember. It's something with airplane. Like I can't remember. I'll look into it. I think I shared it on LinkedIn a while back, but who knows? Who knows? But yeah, thank you so much. And for sure, if you want to do it professionally, don't do Python. If you want to do it, for yourself, for your family, for just for like learning purposes or whatever, do it. I have my binary to decimal application still installed on my phone. It's been working for a few years. It's incredible. Like I love it. um do you think CUDA can make my PC better to play games triple? Yeah, of course. So CUDA is basically processing on GPU rather than on CPU. And if you have a good graphics card, if your graphic to be fair, there are some really good, AMD graphics cards that do not have CUDA. So yeah, it can definitely improve your game experience. Obviously, it depends on your GPU. Different GPU architectures, they have different things that works for them. So right now, I find that my 3090 here is really really good. Like the RTX 3090 is incredible. I can play a lot of games on this costume PC of mine, and it's specifically designed for gaming. Okay, it's a single GPU, but it's great when it comes to gaming. I have two GPUs on my other computer. And I thought that this will make my gaming experience better because, hey, I have two GPUs, right? They are connected with like NVMe and whatever it is, connection and stuff like that. So when I bought my first computer a few years back, I was very excited about it. But then I found out that for gaming, it doesn't work. The SLI something, and no, I think it's called NVMe. I'm not sure if it's if it's the right one, but the connecting two GPUs together is not resulting in better performance when it comes to gaming. Okay, if gaming is what you seek, make sure you get a single GPU. Okay, get yourself a very nice, powerful, like 40 series or 30 series. I don't know much about the AMD stuff because um, I do like machine learning and I do deep learning stuff. So having CUDA is important to me. And it's something that you only have in NVIDIA graphics cards. With AMD, you can use Open. What was the name of it? There's an alternative to CUDA that you can use with AMD stuff, but it's not as it as powerful, but you cannot integrate it with as many libraries as you want. Okay, that's why I'm always limited to NVIDIA GPUs because of machine learning and AI stuff. But other than that, when it comes to gaming, I know a lot of good builds that are not using like RTX. Okay, there exists. Okay, AMD is pretty good. They also manufacture in the States, I believe. They have like a factory of chips in the States. I need to fact check me on this one. I'm not sure. So I saw one of your videos talking about CUDA, but I don't know yet if CUDA could be used for play games. If you have an NVIDIA G, so if you have in a GeForce series right now, I am assuming you are already using CUDA. I'm assuming because very often you use CUDA without even knowing it. So, for example, if you are working with Adobe Premiere or with like any video editing software, most likely they will use CUDA acceleration by default because whenever you're rendering videos, whenever you are running multiple processes at once, you are quite limited when it comes to the cores of your CPU. So, your CPU, your processor, mine I believe it has 8 performance cores and 8 I think it has 16 cores altogether. So what it means is that my CPU can run 16 different processes at once. Okay? Your GPU, it has thousands upon tens of thousands of cores. It depends on your GPU. Mine has several tens of thousands right now. Um, that means that it can make several thousands of tasks at once in parallel. So, yes, the cores of a CPU are more powerful than the cores of a GPU. But in general, when we are doing something like gaming, when we need to render an entire 3D world in real time, and we don't want any delays because guess what? We're playing online and a single delay can destroy our entire game, right? So, we want it to be accurate. We want everything to load fast. What our graphics card does is that it doesn't even so usually you usually your information is processed on the CPU, but graphics cards they bypass it. Sometimes they process it on the graphics card. They have okay, we're going into too many details. Forget about it. I digress. I digress. I start answering on something and then I realize I'm talking about a completely different topic. Nobody asked me about cores of GPUs and CPUs. Why am I explaining it? Sorry. Sorry, folks. Ah, I need to learn to give brief answers on what I was asked. Okay. Python is a perfect language for fast implementation of like an assembler, conversion, and software and HOC routines. So if you're looking to do something fast, Python is the way to go, and I absolutely agree with it because it's so it's the commands are simple and straightforward, and you don't need to worry about small details. You just need to worry about the big picture, which is where um, Python really stands out. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Oh, and we have another super chat. That's all. Oh, and a lot of comments. Holy smokes. Thank you so much. Super sticker. Yay. My Greek friends, right? It's Greek or Latin. I think it's Greek. Pretty sure it is Greek. Um, what do I know in Greek? Yes. So that's the only thing I know in Greek. I can break a plate. I'm really good at it. Yeah, that's right. Luciano, thank you so much. OpenCL, that's the CUDA equivalent for AMD GPUs. Okay, thank you. That's great. That's exactly what I was looking for. See, I knew it's open. What are your thoughts between Conda, PyEnv, virtual ev, Essentrum. I'm a big fan of Anaconda. Like in most of my videos, I'm using it as my terminal, but the benefit of using Anaconda, there's actually two of them. So first of all, well, maybe it's a benefit and a curse, because what it does is it saves all the packages on your computers. When you're installing Anaconda, like you get 1.5 something gigabytes of new data on your computer. So all those libraries that you would usually download from the web using pip, they are stored on your computer. So if you're stuck without any internet connection, if you're on a flight and you need to install some package, guess what? You can't do it with like pip. You can only do it with Anaconda, because pip lives on the cloud, right? And Anaconda lives on your computer. So this is one advantage. Another advantage is that the environment that you make, even if you deactivate it, it still exists. You know, with VNV, I find, at least on my Linux, every time I worked with it, I ended up losing this environment as soon as I, deactivated it. I no longer had an environment. So I don't know if it's a problem on my computer or if it's just something that naturally happens. With VNV, is that you create an environment from right now. I need it now. I'm going to install the requirements now, and I'm going to use it. With Anaconda, you install it once, and then you can reuse it. That's what I find on my end. So these are the two benefits. The only downside of Anaconda versus the pip stuff is that it's not updated as frequently as pip, from what I understand. So very often when the conda command doesn't work, I try it with pip and it works perfectly, because on pip everything is kind of, not everything, but a lot of things are up to date. Okay. So it's a matter of preference. And just because I'm using one now doesn't mean that in a few weeks I'm not going to use another, right? But I don't know if I should tell it to you. I'll tell it to you after, okay? When it becomes a reality, I'm going to share another really cool alternative that hopefully we'll cover on this channel very, very soon. Something I'm very excited about, and I'm sure you guys will too. Cool. Oh, let's see what Badger says about Anaconda. Don't get me ranting. Pip and Conda are separate package management system. VN stinks because packages shouldn't be installed globally by default, but Python does that. So cool. Hey, is that hot chick that teaches Python on YouTube? Thank you, I guess. Hopefully. Yeah, yeah. It's like it's a matter of preference, essentially. I wish Python by default was more like NPM or Nugget from other languages, where packages are local to projects unless you explicitly say global. Part of compartmentalizing. Did I say it right? Finally, right? I did. Yeah, because very often you don't want to install it on a global level. Very often you're working on different projects. So you're looking for things that are a bit more local, for sure. For me, I think the only problem with sometimes installing things globally is that certain things don't work, and then you're stuck with them on a global level, which is something that I don't like. So I'll give you an example. I used to install the CUDA toolkit directly, like as a download file, rather than using like pip install or like Anaconda install or whatever I'm using right now. I used to like physically click on download from the NVIDIA site and kind of install it on my system, right, on the computer. And it's not a good approach, okay, because you're going to have a very hard time if you do it. You need to make sure that all the versions match, and sometimes one library needs to be downgraded to a previous version, and it's very hard to control these type of stuff. So I do get how it can create problems in the workflow. It happened to me before, things that were installed globally kind of intervened with um, an older package that I was looking to work with. There's downside, there's benefits, there's like, that's what I told you before, like in the beginning of the stream, that everyone has their own preferences. And just because somebody likes something that way doesn't mean that everyone should do the same. Okay. The beauty of programming is that there's so many different roads to get to the same result. And if we only explore one of them, right, the most efficient and best way, we will never discover anything new, right? So it's my sentiment. Hi, can I access the Android download folder with Kiwi to see what files are there to use? Yeah, I believe you can. I'm not too familiar with it, but you should be able to do so. Um, Obviously, you should have all the controls. Like you can control the camera, can control all kinds of aspects about your phone. You see those messages was like this app wants to use your data here and there, you know. So if it's something that is can be done with Java, it is very likely can be done with Kiwi, because Kiwi is something that was specifically, not specifically, but like one of the most important use cases of Kiwi is mobile applications, right? This is where it stands out. So there should be a way of doing so. Just kind of look it up in a search engine and you should be able to find a few solutions there. I usually go to the documentation, but with Kiwi, I find that their documentation is a bit complex. I highly recommend going to the Kiwi MD documentation. This is a bit clearer when it comes to understanding these type of stuff, at least for me. Um, wow. While listening to you, I installed an Electron GUI and it runs Flask super great. Even the JavaScript. Nice. So, see, you found a solution without even using PyScript. Yay. And thanks for sharing it with us. That's awesome. That's awesome that you ask question and then you get a better answer by testing it, you know, because I'm theorizing. I'm just here to kind of, well, maybe look here, maybe look there. For you, you can actually check it on your end and see what it works, how it works. So thank you. Thanks so much for sharing it with us. Please explain grid draw configure and grid column figure in Kinter and grid layout. It's very confusing. It's been a while since I worked with Kinter, so I'm gonna have to look into it. The last grid I worked with was Kiwi Grid. Um, if from the top of my head, there's no way I can explain it because I'm not entirely sure what it is. Have you seen my Kinter tutorials? I probably didn't talk about it there. Um, but yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, I don't have much to say. I don't know enough to give you a proper answer. Whoo, a lot of comments. Let's see. Do you know any companies hiring remote worldwide for Django and Flask developers? Because I can't find any. Um, there should be. Like, I don't know what the market is at the moment. I'm not sure. I'm not looking for work in particular, but I don't know if it will be labeled as a Django and Flask developer. This could be labeled as a full stack or like a back end or like a front end developer. And then sometime somewhere in the description they would write like it's good to know Django or Flask, right? But what generally companies are looking for is not a specific framework or a specific language. They're looking for you to fix some problems, right? What can you do for us, right? um it doesn't matter, it doesn't always matter the current framework that you're working with, because if you know Flask, you could probably learn Django very fast. And if you know JS, if you know Node.js, then Django would be super easy for you. It's something that you can easily learn. You can learn the detailed stuff later. When they'll be looking for people, they'll be looking for either front end or back end or full stack, whatever it is, web developers. Just look for web development jobs. And then Django and Flask, if you can find a developer specifying it in the description, an employer specifying it in the description, then great. If you can't, it doesn't mean that they don't use Django or Flask. It just means that maybe they didn't specify it, or maybe they don't care. They'll teach you those stuff on the spot. I don't know. I'm not working in high tech. You guys know that. I'm here as a content creator. I started this channel to find work in high tech, and then I ended up doing something completely different. As you can see, I ended up having a very large community, something I didn't expect. So yay. I can't complain. But when it comes to jobs, ask one another in the comments. I can give you general advices, but it's not advices of somebody who actually accomplished what I'm talking about. Okay. In the context of fun, Python or C, definitely Python. C is not fun. There is nothing fun about C. It's very, very detailed, very, very picky. And very often, when you have some compiling issues, you'll be lost. You don't always know where the error is. It's how C++, I would say, not C in general, C++, let's be fair. My cat is moving again. Yeah, he has expanded a lot. A lot. Okay. He has, okay, this gap between him and the computer. He used to be like flush with the computer. Thank you, Neil. Okay. Ad hoc means that you code directly without planning. That's how I usually do it. I call it the chicken without the head approach. I love it. You freestyle, right? You just you start coding, and that's where I find myself. The problem is I don't only do it only with Python. I do it with many many other languages too. And that's the reason why, actually, I had it before, because I do that. That's the reason why sometimes my graphs reflect wrong results, like validation MAE, mean absolute error, while it should be validation accuracy. Okay, that should have a different name, but because I'm coding like this, going nuts, that's why it looks like that. So yeah, that's my approach. Okay, terrible, terrible approach. You should plan before you code, right? But that's how I do it. There's a lot of things that I do. I know I shouldn't be doing them, but I do them anyways because it's more fun to me, right? It's more creative. You get to explore different paths of how not to do things. It's a good way of doing so. But yeah, that's definitely my approach. PyEnv is the GOAT, is the greatest of all times. It's the Michael Jordan of of a pip env. Yeah, it's the Michael Jordan of package managers, says Richard. That's awesome. um yeah, a badger is talking to Jose. Any plans to make a separate channel for other programming languages, like when Rust simplified? I was thinking about it, but then holy smokes, I already wear too many hats. I'm kind of, there's always this bird that sits on a tree, on a branch far away from you, that you always want to catch. But if you already have a bird in your hand, why would you even look? So this is where I'm at. And my spouse was insisting for me to open like new channels, like Mojo Simplified and like whatever, all kinds of stuff like that. And I was thinking about it just to, reserve names on YouTube, but like, I don't know. I don't know. We already have such a big community. We are all using Python. It's something I'm comfortable with, something I'm known for. And it's something that I never run out of ideas of what to do. So, okay, I noticed that you can see my light. It's because of my cat. So I think I'll continue with Python simplified. It's just, it works, and you don't switch a winning horse. It's an old Jewish saying, "Lo machlifim sus menatzeach." Okay, just saying, just saying. And yeah, you see, Badger and I, we mostly agree on a lot of things, which is great. That's awesome. Badger is very smart, so I'm happy to agree with him. Do you know any companies hire? Oh, I read this one before. Gracias for the answer. Awesome. Is JavaScript an important language in building a website? Yes. And is it a difficult language? No, it is not difficult. It is similar to Python in terms of that it's like not low level. It is very high level. It is, when we say that it's high level, we mean that you worry about the big picture, all the small details, the language will figure out for you. JavaScript is very intuitive. There's all kinds of implementations of JavaScript. There's different libraries within JavaScript. There's the JavaScript programming language, and there's also Node.js. There's also jQuery. There's also like handlebars. So there's a lot of subsets of JavaScript. P5.js that I was, being really mad at earlier. There's all kinds of different forms of JavaScript for you to learn, depending on what you do with your website. Generally, I love JavaScript. It's a really nice language, but it's very confusing with Python. There are certain things that certain things that kind of repeat. It's just a different, there's a different keyword for it. So the console log instead of print, right? You got to remember these type of stuff. And I find myself very often coding like C sharp and like C++, and I write print like some kind of a, like a rookie. You know why? Because, I think in Python. Um, but generally JavaScript is a very easy language. I think Python is slightly easier, but since JavaScript is something that is implemented on the web, on the browser, you'll find it very, very easy to debug. You'll find it very, very easy to operate. As long as you can properly connect it to your site, I think you're good to go. um, yeah. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Exactly. Hello, Fabio. Hi, Marie. Any advice on different cloud platforms apart from the big boys, AWS, Google Cloud, Azure? Thanks. The reason why everybody goes for these cloud platforms is because they have a lot of infrastructure. So I think whenever you're hosting things on the cloud, hey, I have someone from, sorry, I'll get back to you in a second, Fabi. I have someone from Crimea. Hello, I'm from Crimea. I was born there. I haven't been there for many, many years, but awesome. Земляки, здрасте. Cool. Fabio, back to you. So the reason why people use, because I'm gonna lose this comment after, and I want to say hi while I see it. Krimchani. So because they have such a large infrastructure, they have so many servers in so many places in the world. I don't know if it makes sense to go for something else. They're probably very expensive. Stocks, right? But it depends on the traffic on your website as well. I am not familiar with a lot of cloud platforms that currently exist, but I might have some news, very, very shortly, okay, about a platform that does implement it. Okay, I don't want to say it now because I want things to be kind of, I want to close the deal. I want to be like, I don't want it to be something I can jinx. That's why I'm not saying it. So just not to jinx it. I'm gonna keep it a secret for now. But other than these platforms being expensive and kind of, well, and they can shut you down pretty much any moment if they don't like the type of site you're making. It's hard for me to see somebody competing with those big guys, in terms of speed and in terms of accessibility to your website and your framework. But it's something that should be tested. If I find one, I will let you know for sure. For sure. There you go. There is always more than one way to skin a cat. Yeah, try skinning this one. It's not gonna be easy. There's a lot of skin there. My cat is very, very tall. Is actually a little bit chubby, but I say he's tall. uh okay, I got this comment a million times already, and I think it's a bug. I don't think that it's yeah, see, like sometimes I get it from StreamYard. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I prefer Oracle Cloud myself. I would say that Oracle is also like one of the big guys, right? It's a big company. They're working with, like, their partners with Microsoft. They're giant. My question is Oracle Cloud detached from Microsoft Cloud? That's my biggest question, because I know that Oracle and Microsoft announced many years ago that they have like a partnership together. That's why like Ubuntu is pretty much part of Windows now. Like it comes installed and stuff like that. So I don't know. Um, that's what's going on. Unfortunately, StreamYard doesn't recognize deleted things. So Badger is doing a very good job deleting things, and then I get to pop them on the screen after time after time. Sorry, Badger. StreamYard. Actually, another thing that is a bit of a disadvantage, but it's not a deal breaker with StreamYard, is that it doesn't like integrate Discord streams very well. Unfortunately, I gotta kind of do it manually, and I don't want to do it. I've done it before with Rumble, and I wasn't sure if I'm even live there. It was complicated. Um, yeah, yeah, it's a copy paste thing going on. Oh, hello, Sandy from Australia. Hello, great to see you. Awesome. What else we have? Google also has Firebase. Look at them. Remember Firebase. Remember. It's not them in particular, but remember. It has to do. I'm not gonna reveal a lot of stuff. Java is a four-letter word. Yes. Yes. And every 1 in 4 people is third. Yeah. Third, like first, second, third. Not a turd. Yeah. My accent makes it hard to tell funny jokes. The new Boston I used back in the day to learn Java. Okay. Okay, Java EU. Will probably not getting the best place to get those tips seeing this and simplified. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he was replying to Sana. A good friend of mine. Her name is also Sana. That's awesome. I should call her. I haven't talked to her in a while. Hello, any tips to learn Java? Like Badger said, Python simplified is not the best to ask. It's not the best place to ask about Java stuff. Like I can give you some general stuff, but it's not my expertise. I'm not known for my Java knowledge. Go to for Java stuff. Go to Darcy from Scrumptious. I'm gonna give you a nice advice. I already have a Twitter here. Let's look for. Oh, I have a lot of stuff here. Darcy. There you go, Darcy. She is an incredible Java guru. Okay, Darcy Java. Okay, this is how I'm gonna call her. Scrumptious. Okay, follow her on Twitter, please, if you need some like cool Java stuff. I know that she teaches it a lot on her Twitter slash. Oh, I have a lot of notifications. That's great. I'll check them out after. But yeah, if you need some Java stuff, definitely go there for sure. Darcy is also in our Discord once in a while. Just so you know, once in a while, not often. Cool. She's also Canadian. Yay! um, Needless to say, we get along very well. Yeah, I need to talk to her to see if we can like work together and do some cool collabs in the future. Merci. You welcome. I don't know how to say you welcome in in French. Best line in Python for me is pip3 install magic wormhole. Is that a thing? No, I don't think so. Is it? Will be there any video about project structure? Greetings from Poland, like software development techniques. I have a live stream where I was practicing. Like, I think you're going to find it interesting. It's a long live stream, but I think I cover the most important stuff in the beginning. So I was practicing for an exam in software design. This one, software design and development, Neo. Okay, he's chilling. He's chilling. There you go. I can move this light now. He's back to his original spot. Okay, so software design and development. Okay, check it out. And why? I'm going to copy it and paste it. I'm going to paste it here. Software design. There you go. And the reason why you should check it out is because I have some slides for you here as well. I've prepared a lot of the material that I covered. I prepared it in slides. So even if I didn't explain it very well, if you kind of if you check out, I have I have a lot of like sources here, module cohesion, things that deal with like the principles behind designing your software, like which how modules should be connected together. Are they supposed to be tangled? Are they supposed to be left alone? Like, should one function call another function? Should one function control another function? So there's like all kinds of different approaches here. And there's the module coupling as well. Like how I'm going to cover a lot of it. But yeah, check it out. Check out this stream. I think I've done it pretty well there. I can't remember. I don't remember that it was a horrifying stream, so it means it was a good one. Okay, but check it out. I think you're gonna like it. Cool. Newest comments. Hello, Maria. Could you kindly advise good specific industrial certification, Google boot camps for software engineer, full stack web developer, products manager, data scientists, Thank you. So you know me, I went the academic route. I basically went for a full blown I went for a full blown degree. So I'm not sure which industrial certification to recommend you, because I haven't heard of people who found their job of their dreams after they finished it. If you did, please leave me a comment here. Please let us know, like in the comments, if you do find that one of these certifications, those boot camps, they ended up finding you a job. I know that there's one viewer named Tobbs. He's from Wales. Incredible guy, like super super funny. You see him very often on streams and comments. Tobbs was able to he actually got a boot camp from a job. So basically he learned on his own. He was a self-taught developer. He was looking for a job for a very long time, and then he was hired by a company that sent him to this boot camp. So they paid for those expenses and stuff like that. So he kind of got it on the job. So I'm not sure how it really works. I'm not sure which of these certificates actually manifests in jobs. I know that a lot of companies um, tell you that it's going to translate into a job, but is it really? An important question to ask, because a lot of these academies, you would think they're in the business of teaching, but they're in the business of making money. Okay. Most and foremost. Okay. And they will promise you things that sound very very good on paper, and they'll say it in a language that can be interpreted in several ways, right? They'll say it in an ambiguous way. They'll pretty much promise you a job without actually promise you a job. And so look at what they're saying. I don't know if Google actually hires the people they teach. That's that's my general sentiment here. Now, I can tell you for sure what's not going to get you a job, and it's a nano degree. If you do a nano degree on a platform like Udacity or like Udemy or whatever it is useless. It is worthless. Even if you do this on EDX, which, if I'm not mistaken, it's like a Stanford or like Hardware, I think, um, platform, it's still a certificate that you got online for a program that usually doesn't have a due date. Sorry, no, nano degrees and certification, they do have a due date, but I don't think that anyone will be impressed with this type of thing. They'll be impressed with your projects, probably more than they'll be impressed with like this certificate that is not exactly a um, yeah, professional certificate. Like maybe you can go like to an IT, sorry guys, an IT college, like BCIT, MIT, stuff like that. Let's see. Badger, what's Badger is saying about that? I haven't personally seen certification count for much in the industry. Exactly. Like I see something similar. A lot of people are getting them. A lot of people are excited about them. But whether it's impressing on your resume, that's a very good question to ask. I don't think it is. If we have, someone who has a company in the comments, please share your sentiment for other folks to see. Like, what would you do? Personally, if I had, in a hypothetical scenario of me ever having like a company, I'd probably prefer self-taught developers. Um, Mostly because I know what they teach in college, I know what they teach in university, and it's not enough. I also know what they teach in like those certificate programs, which is also not enough. So anyone who is willing to dive into the water on their own, and this kind of shows me it's somebody who's passionate about this industry enough to go on a personal research type of a route. I would prefer it, but then I do not own a high tech company. I'm not hiring developers, so um, it's hypothetical. Okay, it's up to your employer. So you can find again those developers that tell you that they found a really good job after like learning programming for a month and stuff like that. These situations, they can exist. Okay, it's not like they're all lying. No, sometimes there's luck, and sometimes you meet someone who is not hiring you because of your coding skills. Okay, it's not your coding skills that impress them. Maybe it's the way that the person presented themselves. Maybe they have a certain quality, a certain je ne sais quoi that your employer is really looking for. So while they hired you, after a month of knowing how to code, it doesn't mean that anybody else who is not you, who will apply for the same job, will get the same offer. So sometimes it is tailored to the specific individual who applies, So these stories exist, but I wish there was more of them. Okay. Sometimes you're just getting into somebody's heart, they're like, well, I want this person to be here in the office with me every day. I want to, that's the face I want to see every morning. That's, the conversations I want to have. And this is something that employers are thinking about because they're spending a lot of time with you if you are working like in a office settings. So yeah, keep that in mind. It's not always your coding skills that are interesting to employers. How to check if someone knows Python with one question. That's challenging. It's a very, very good question. If name equals what? It's a good one. Or if name equals main, then what do we do? you know, it's a good way of testing, probably. Uh, um, how long does it take to master Python or just coding in general? So the coding side of things is not very difficult. Um, but there's a gap between making a software that works and making a software that works well. Okay. So in terms of coding, you can learn it quite fast. I would think that, um, if you spend about a week or 2 weeks, daily, a few hours daily, kind of learning Python, you'll probably be able to master like the coding commands. You'll probably be comfortable with coding, but what can you do with this coding if you're not sure about like other computer science principles? So software development, it takes time to learn. Yeah, it sounds like something you can do fast, but you learn new things every day. You don't stop learning. And even though I'm being very critical towards my university, there's a lot of things that I did learn there, especially from lecturers who never had a script, who never like planned what they're about to say in the video. They were just like 40-minute long videos, and within them, there's maybe 5 minutes of like really good jams where you know somebody talks like very some the lecturer explains things in his own language in a way that is meant for me to understand. So um yeah, I would say anything you want to do well, anything, whether it's like music or cooking or like any type of skill, boating, it takes you time to learn it. Okay, you can speed up the process depending on your learning abilities, depending on how much time you have to spend on these things. But you will need to invest some time, okay, to get to a basic level of understanding software and understanding like Python and coding. I would say half a year is sufficient for you to make simple programs that work fine, that are like that make a lot of sense, okay? To develop enough experience to have the confidence to make those programs all the time, right? And if I'm phrasing it well. But in order to master something, we're talking about years. We're not talking about months. We're not talking about weeks. Okay. So if you want to understand what you're doing, like the principles of why you're writing software, this is something that I'm still learning. And guess what? In our industry, you need to keep learning because things are changing, things are developing, they're going faster. So I don't think that anyone will ever master Python, you know, unless you're actually writing Python, right? You're the one who made Python, so you know a lot about it. So uh, it's an ongoing process. And every new version of Python brings new things, right? So if you want to truly become a software developer, and you want somebody to tell you that you can do it fast like that, I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to tell you the truth, and it takes time. Prepare yourself for like at least 2 years if you're very, very talented and very, very motivated. But it will look more like something along the 4 years. And after this time, you'll have the lingo, you'll have the understanding of certain terms that people use. And then I guess you'll be able to reason about it using your own words rather than just repeating something like a parrot. This is something we talked about in the previous tutorial. Um, what else did I see here that was interesting? Huh? Let's see. Okay, so one of my data analyst friends in Google himself says that Google data analytics certification doesn't do much. However, the project definitely do. Okay, so great. Okay, so here's a testimony from a friend of someone who works in Google. So the project you make may, depending on the project you made in this certificate, that determines if you'll be able to find a job or not. But the certificate itself means nothing, because guess what, in my university, if you pass, you get a certificate for anything above 40. Okay, 40% out of 100 in my university is enough for you to get a degree, which I think it's insane. It's insane. In Canada, for air conditioning, if you get if you get 68 in an exam, you're not getting your certification. It has to be 70 plus. Okay, so the standard between each university is different, and there are people, at least in the previous semester in my team that I worked with. It's like, I don't know what they're gonna do in a workplace. Like, I don't know, who's gonna hire them? Like, maybe they'll hire them for a few days, but then when they realize that they didn't learn anything, that's going to be a problem. They're not going to have this job for a long time. So I don't know. You need to be comfortable with changes. You need to be comfortable with learning new things, and personal projects is something that I would definitely look at if I was an employer, hypothetically, for sure, because that's the best indication of like, hey, is that person what I really need in my team? How will he deal with this in this situation? What kind of code will he write, or like what implementation will he do? Will he deploy his project, or only share some GitHub link? Because it may look a bit more professional if your app comes in a setup file, or maybe in a Docker container, or like things along these lines. Maybe there's ways of impressing employers a bit better. So definitely think about that. um let's see. Do you suggest me to make an application in Python Kiwi, or should I head somewhere else? I'm a beginner level. No, you can make Kiwi applications. The only challenge with Kiwi is that it's using, I don't think you can make it without using object-oriented programming, which is basically like classes and things that are generally considered a bit hard to understand. But I have a lot of really good tutorials on classes and like practices and whatnot. Um, Let me pull it out. So yeah, object-oriented programming is covered extensively on my channel. You have here the class inheritance. It's an exercise. You have a very visual exercise where you draw a forest of like random trees, right, in a single command. That's another practice. Um, but where you learn it is here: Python classes and objects. This video of mine. And my apologies for what I wear there. It was before this channel was popular. Um, I was a bit more free with wearing what I want. Not so much anymore. Not so much anymore. I post something with shorts and people are losing their mind. Cool. Cool. Let's see. Ah, so many comments, you guys. Wow. It's so hard for me to browse through all this. I've seen a comment before that I wanted to pull out and then I lost it. That sucks. Sorry. Kind of just going through everything. I should have some placeholder music um in between. Please recommend a roadmap for someone who want to get into machine learning. So first of all, learn Python. Well, no, first of all, learn the principles of machine learning. But many of them are implemented with Python. Okay, so before you even diving into like using libraries like TensorFlow, you need to understand what those shortcuts are doing for you. So what happens when you write like model.fit? What is model.build? What does it do? How those commands are looking in their algorithm type of form, right? So I would do that. I would kind of start with a course, introductory course to like machine learning, Even though it's hard for me to recommend courses like that because I took them, they're terrible. I didn't understand anything. It took me a while to kind of grasp it, and it's something that I've done on my own. I took a piece of paper and I took a pen and I like literally I took a very simple input, and on paper I was tracing it through different layers of the network. Unless you do that, you don't really understand what you're doing. So the way they teach it in my university is okay if you already have some background. Okay, if you are brand new to machine learning and you're starting with like cross entropy formulas and like gradient descent formulas, it will be very discouraging. Like you don't want to see that. You want to see an example. You want to see illustrations. You want to see something simple. So yeah, if you are struggling with any machine learning course, okay, and I'm what I have here is not exactly a replacement, it's a supplement, okay, for machine learning stuff. So if you have a machine learning course and you're struggling, check out my artificial intelligence and machine learning simplified playlist. I'm going to share it with you. Can I share it? Get shareable link. There you go. Going to share it. AI simplified. Okay. This will give you additional background on all these things that your lecturers are talking about. If we look at the videos, okay, the first video we begin with different approaches for training. Okay, we have supervised learning, we have unsupervised learning, and we have reinforcement learning. So this video will kind of get you familiar with those. The next video is a very visual, a very theoretic introduction to neural networks. You will learn what a neural network is, how it processes information. And then we are moving into like really, really detailed math related stuff in this perceptron algorithm video. So a perceptron is a single unit of logic in a neural network. We are investigating it. It always has an outcome of either 0 or 1. And that's a very nice algorithm to learn for sure. After that, we talk about cross entropy, which is a loss function. I explain what loss function is probably there, I hope. Then we move on to gradient descent. And then in this train basic neural network, we are taking everything we've learned and we are implementing it with pandas and NumPy. Okay, not TensorFlow, not PyTorch, with some libraries that are not traditionally used for machine learning algorithms. Okay, well, they're used behind the scenes, right? But when you write your commands, you don't write them with like NumPy. You rarely would. So basically, we are implementing the math side of things, and that way you can really understand the algorithms. Then I introduce you to machine learning databases. I show you how to fetch them automatically with PyTorch, how to transform the data, I believe. And then if you're looking for inference, my lecturers are calling it inference, so I'm going to call it inference as well. Prediction with your neural network, these two videos will really, really help you. So my um, CUDA simplified tutorial will show you how to use your GPU, your, I guess, NVIDIA GPU, if you have one, to boost your to boost your processing speed. And then this video, the faster inference, which with Torch Tensor RT, will show you how to basically do it fast. We're doing a little bit of Docker there as well. And besides doing it fast, it will show you how to take a photo that your neural network has never seen before. Never. It's a photo from your phone of your cat. You will show it to your neural network, and then it will make a guess what type of cat it is. Okay. And then you will see that it's pretty accurate. Okay. So I highly recommend it. And then you get to see my storyteller model, which is very stupid. And to be fair, it was meant to be stupid because it's not really using validation, something called validation. But if you're working on like a bag of words model, basically predict the next word type of a model. So I'm going to give you 5 words and you're going to write me a whole story based on those 5 words. Then this shows you how to make this neural network. Can you make it simpler? Yes. Yes. I've made it simpler, sense, but it's nice. If you're stuck, it gives you a good introduction to where what you can do. Dziękuję. That's thank you in Polish. That's great. Your pandas tutorial was very helpful today. Thanks. Awesome. Enjoy. Enjoy. Hello, Maria. Could you kindly advise good specific? Oh yeah, I got. I'm back. I'm back to repeating comments. Okay, why are you no longer active on Instagram? I don't know. It's Instagram. It became a platform for like hot chicks, you know? I'm not sure. That's all I see there. I used to see some makeup tutorials. I used to see some hair tutorials. And now all those influencers that I used to follow before, for their makeup and hair, I see them in bras, wearing like intimate lingerie all the time. I don't know. I don't, yeah, I'm out. I'm out. It used to be um, a bit less a bit more conservative, I would say. I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't that bad in terms of like you open your feed and everyone is like half naked and stuff. I find it silly. And if you like the thing about Instagram too is like how many pictures of computer related, Python related stuff can actually upload. I'll end up uploading things about my life and the things I do on, a regular basis, which is something that I don't know if it's even interesting to you. It's something that is not important as far as I'm concerned. It's just a distraction, right? So I do have my Twitter, where once in a while I do post photos from my personal life, but I try not to do it because, well, why? I'm here to teach you Python. That's the value I want to bring to your life, right? I'm not a model, I don't do these type of stuff. And I find it silly where, you go to visit this nice place, you find some very nice background, and all I do is I'm bugging like my spouse Mario, like, can you take a picture of me here? Can you take a picture of me there? Like, I feel so silly. And he's laughing at me. I'm like a teenager. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to go through all this stuff. Like, and all the pictures are selfies from different like directions and stuff. I don't know. I don't know if it's for me. But if you want to see pictures once in a while, Twitter is probably your way to go. I have a nice account there. Um, cool. Let's see. Oh, zombie apocalypse. Okay, what Python project would you do during a zombie apocalypse? I will not do a Python project during a zombie apocalypse. I'll be there slaying zombies. I am a veteran. I know how to use weapons. I've watched, I believe I watched a very large collection of zombie movies, possibly definitely the most popular ones. I watched all of them. I'm prepared for it. I used to dream. I used to have a dream about a zombie apocalypse once a month. So I'm fully prepared. I know exactly what to do because I've been through it, in my dreams. But yeah, I will not be coding during a zombie apocalypse. Will we even have internet and like electricity? Depends which zombie apocalypse we're talking about. Depends which scenario. I've been practicing Python for about 5 months, self taught from another YouTuber. Nice. But you helped me very much with OOP, and I'm focusing on data analysis at the moment. Cool. Pandas, SQL, Tableau, any input you can give me. Yes, check out Polars as well. I get a lot of like good information about Polars. It's not very popular, but it's supposed to be like faster version of Pandas, if it's even possible. I don't know. I haven't tested it, but I'm getting a lot of good information about it. There are also, if you're working with large data sets in pandas, I have a really nice tutorial for you to watch. Chunking, it's a technique that is very, very important if you're loading like data sets like the sentiment 140 that I was talking about earlier. Basically, like millions upon millions of like Twitter messages, Twitter data. When your data set is very large and it's hard for you to load it or manipulate it in place, like when it's impossible for you to load it and manipulate it in place, what you can do is use chunking. And here I'm teaching you all about chunking. Read giant data sets fast. And it's a relatively simple technique. Okay. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. It's just something that a lot of us are not aware of when it comes to pandas. And I really wanted to bring it to the surface. Chunking is great. It produces, it basically takes your file and it puts it in a read only type of mode. And because it's read only, you can basically access it faster. Okay. So if you're struggling with it, definitely do these type of stuff that I was just talking about. But yeah, good. Just keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. It seems to be working, and keep doing what you're doing. Do not replace a winning horse. Right? I'm not doing any horse races, but I find this saying very very interesting. Okay, code with Andre. Hey, you, how are you today? Nice stream. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much. That's exactly what I said a moment ago as an advice. That's awesome. I'm glad you're on LinkedIn. Yeah, absolutely. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Discord. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitch now. Twitch. Holy smokes. I have a blog, I have a GitHub. But yeah, I don't have a Facebook, I don't have an Instagram, I don't do these type of stuff. Meta related stuff, I don't have it all on my phone. Um, a lot of, I'm not going to talk about it. Forget about it. Have you already tried HTMX? No. Is that a thing? I didn't know it exists. Wow. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, what is the backend and front end programming, and how will you combine them to create an app or website? I'm gonna have a drink. Backend programming is what you have between you. So, okay, you have a server, which is what provides, which is what there's users who are using your browser application, okay? And they are fetching information from the server of your site. Okay, so there's a user and there is a server. So in the interactions between users and servers, like the server side of things is what we call backend. So what happens when you're clicking submit on this form you just filled? Which web page will a click on this button will take you to? What kind of data will this web page require in order to load? Okay, because sometimes, let's say we are loading our social media profile right now. So in order to load our page, our browser needs to get data from the server, and this data comes from something we call database, where it stores our username, our bio, our profile picture, like I guess the URL of our profile picture. It stores information about all the users, all the pages that you can find in this application. So you need to fetch the right information, and backend is what helps us do it. Front end is what the user sees. Okay, it's the end result of the information you fetched and is now being displayed to whoever is using your software. Okay, since words are very important to me, I don't feel like I explained it well. I'm pretty sure I already covered it in other videos, particularly the Flask videos. Check them out. I'm pretty sure I already talked about these type of stuff. But yeah, when we're talking about back end, we're not talking about HTML. We are not talking about CSS. And when we are talking about JavaScript and Python, both of them can be used on the front end and on the back end. So when we use JavaScript, we usually use it to make interactions on the same page we are on. Okay, so we are not switching a page. We are not fetching new information. We are not requesting any information from our server. But let's say, what happens if we make a check mark? We have a field that when we do a check mark, it changes the color of this field to a different color. This is something that is done with JavaScript. We are not reloading the page. This is something we can do with either PyScript in Python or JavaScript or like jQuery and stuff like that. When we are talking about backend, What we mean is Node.js or like Flask or Django type of backend for Python. Traditionally, it was done with PHP, but now Python has the upper hand. So, yeah, you combine, they're part of every website. It's not something, well, unless your website is very simple and it doesn't have any databases and it doesn't really load anything from servers, which is also a possibility. This is how my first website was like. I didn't really have this. Um, I think I just fetched some static HTML pages. That's all I did. There was no data that keeps changing on the site. So it's possible, but you will not see many sites like that nowadays. Nowadays, you have a front end, you have a back end, and they're connected. Um, just how it works. It's more convenient that way. It works better, faster, better, more reliable, more modular. There's all kinds of benefits. First time tuning into your channel. Hi, hello, hello. I want to break into AI as a total newbie, but an intermediate Python dev, but it feels intimidating. Do your videos offer start from zero? On certain things, yeah, but you will still need to have some external knowledge. I'm not covering everything. I'm covering specific things that people find difficult. Okay, so if you are taking an AI course and you find it very difficult to understand gradient descent, guess what? I have an amazing video on it. I talked about it slightly earlier in the stream. I even shared a link to this playlist. I don't want to talk about it much more in much more detail. We just finished it, but check out the playlist called Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Simplified. That's the one over here. It will give you an incredible supplement to all the things that you didn't understand. Because AI is not being taught from zero anywhere, okay, including in my university. It's something that they expect you to have at least some background when it comes to statistics, analytics, when it comes to some basic mathematic operations. So they assume you know all that before they start teaching you that, but it doesn't mean that you actually know that. So my videos don't assume that. I don't assume anything. I assume you're not familiar with the field at all, and I give you a lot of like real life examples. But again, if I see that more and more people are interested in those machine learning videos, I will cover it from scratch. I started covering it from scratch in my new AI series that didn't really get a lot of attention. But it's, to be fair, it's probably because it's theoretical. It's more about philosophy. So there you go. Can machines think? So if you're interested, where is it? Come on, open the playlist, not the video. It is the playlist. Sorry. It is the playlist. There you go. What? What is this doing here? It's a song I discovered from a computer game and I really liked it. Why are you here? Remove from this playlist. Thank you. Okay. That was not part of the curriculum, guys. Sorry. But yeah, you'll need it's not everything. You'll need to kind of scatter this information from all over the web. And the reason why it's like that is because your AI model directly depends on the data that you're using, right? So if you're using a data that is slightly different, that arranged slightly differently, that had different purposes or whatnot, you'll be working with a completely different model. So it's hard to teach you everything about everything when it comes to AI. So people, I find that there's not enough information that is like really step by step and arranged nicely. And I wanted to be the one to have this information, but again, it depends on you guys and what you want to watch. I'm not going to force some videos onto you that you're not really interested in, right? So there you go. Hi, did you do any projects on NVIDIA Jetson? My project on NVIDIA Jetson was buying it to my brother. He really, really wanted it. So when I went to visit him back home, I bought him a Jetson Nano. To tell you that we did much with it, no, we did not do much with it. But for these type of stuff, check out Kevin. Kevin, forgot his last name, but he's doing all kinds of cool projects. Kevin McAleer. There you go. Check him out on Twitter. I'm gonna send you his information. He's doing all kinds of like robotic stuff. So Kevin's Twitter, sharing it in the comments. Yeah, if he's an expert at these type of stuff, I cannot tell you that I'm particularly comfortable with hardware. I'm fine when it comes to like PC hardware and stuff like that, but when it comes to like robotics, it's not for me. So folks, it's getting pretty late. Okay, it's almost 1 p.m. and I need to call the Bulgarian embassy in Ottawa. Okay, so or Ontario, is it? Okay, so I gotta make this phone call before they close today. And I have a time difference with Ottawa or Ontario because Canada is big. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this stream a bit faster today. My apologies for leaving, and my apologies if I missed your comments. Hmm. Let's see, a few more comments. To make a GUI app, which of the two libraries is the best to use and why? PyQt5 or Tkinter? It's a matter of preference. I don't think it really matters. Both of them are desktop libraries. Tkinter, Tkinter may have a bit more support. I'm assuming Qt, PyQt5, it's not only Pythonic as far as I understand. PyQt5 is, but Qt in general, it's a library that is probably predating Python. I don't think you can hear me confused, right? Because it doesn't really matter. Essentially, is what you find more convenient. I think that PyQt5, the best about it, the best feature of it is that you can use like CSS like commands. And because I come from like front end, web development stuff like that, I obviously like CSS. I feel comfortable with it, and the fact that I can um, specify my commands in CSS definitely gives it the upper hand. Also, in terms of design, I find that PyQt5 is a bit better. But I'm pretty sure there's already PyQt6. It's been developed since. I covered it very long ago on a channel. It's very convenient to use. It's very nice. You don't have to use OOP, like object-oriented programming with PyQt5. I think my project is just using regular functions and stuff like that. Tkinter, the benefit that usually Tkinter has is that it should be consistent across different operating systems, right? So if you design it on Windows, it should work on, Linux and Mac or whatever. But matter of preference, as usual. So, um, yeah, Bulgaria just read an apocalypse. Tamer, main character was Bulgarian. Okay, cool. I don't really speak Bulgarian, but they do speak English there in the embassy. I need to book some meeting for my spouse. He's Bulgarian, right? So, yeah, gonna make this phone call right now. So yeah, thank you so much for joining the stream. I see some really nice comments here as well. That's awesome, guys. Thanks for joining as usual. That was incredible. Very nice stream here. Yeah, have yourself an incredible day. I will see you soon in some awesome tutorials that I gave you a few hints about in this stream, but because it's like 2.5 hour long, I'm not expecting you to remember. And yeah, so yeah, as a bye bye, I'm gonna show you my cat. That's the last thing I'm gonna show you right now. Okay, there you go. Woo! So my light is falling, and here my cat. There you go. He's here. He has taken up a lot of room in my office. Okay, let me. Whoo! Sorry about that, you guys. So that's what I see. I see a microphone. Okay, maybe I'll remove this comment from here. Hide current comment. I see a microphone. I have this light in front of me. I have another light in the back. I have a cat, completely spread. Like, check him out. He's completely spreading out. That's what I meant. Like, he's expanding. Okay, there you go. Neo, do you want to say hi? Bar. Yeah, do you want to say actual hi? No, no, he wants to drop things on the table. So yeah, folks, thank you so much for joining. Have a good one. Bye bye. End of stream.